Hey guys, this is Jen. Alright, so this is the video that will be for the Rhinestone. The last one I did, I think, was for version 4.019 or something like that. So let's do an update here. Alright, so here I have a font. This is not what I want to use. So I'm going to go find a font. I'm going to use Flamingo. Alright, so here it is. And I know that I'm going to get this to about the size that I want before I turn it into rhinestones. I know I have to, okay? Because if you turn it into rhinestones and then you try to resize it, you will skew your actual rhinestone cut, okay? Alright, so let me come up here to my wrench. I'm going to thicken it a little bit. And it kind of looks okay. I like the way that looks right there. But you know what? Rhinestones, it won't make a difference. Okay, now effects. Shadow layer. This is really important, okay, if you're doing a rhinestone such as this. I'm going to do a couple layers. Oops, no. Control yourself, please. Alright. Try to move this out of the way. These shadows, okay, so I have my main word here. This first shadow that comes in behind is actually going to be the space that's going to be between each of my rhinestone layers. Okay, so I need to make it a little big. Yeah, let's do 2.5. No, 2.5. 2.5. There we go. Okay. So there's the first rhinestone layer, the space, the second rhinestone layer, the space, then the third rhinestone layer. So one layer, the space, the second layer, the space, then the third layer. I'll click OK. And wait a little bit for it to work. Okay. So I'm going to pull this over here. And as that's sitting there, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do a path union. What that does is that joins all the letters there. So I don't have to worry about the join marks coming in the rhinestones. Okay. Now all of these, they are still grouped together. So I'm going to highlight that all, object, ungroup. So now I need to go after these because I only want the rhinestone layers. Okay, so I'm going to go after these first two. So I have the lightest 2 gray highlighted right now. Okay, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to come up to my path and I'm going to do a back minus my front because I want to keep the back and subtract the front from it. Wait for that to work and I'm going to scoop this out of the way. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to highlight this one and do the same. Path and my back minus my front. Edit, select all, and we'll do this. Okay, and we can do it to page if you want, and that'll put it right in the center of your page. Okay. Oh, actually, that didn't work. Let's go to the page. There we go. All right, so now you can see by my 2 page that this fits inside my 12 by 12 ScanNCut size mat that I custom put in there. Okay, now if I want to resize this, I can do it all before I apply my rhinestone effect. Okay, so if I want to make this a little longer, I can do it now. Okay. And understand that this being rhinestone and our machine only cutting to the 12 wide, okay? You may want to either make this a little narrower, whatever your project is. You can make it a little narrower if you want, or if you have the 12 by 24 mat, you can use that. Let's see. We'll just leave that at no for right now. Or you can apply this. So let's center it down like that. Okay, so now you have a little bit more space around the edge. Okay, it's totally up to you however you want to do it, depending on what your design is. If you have a small design, that's good, fine, and great. But if you have a larger design, understand this is a way that you can do it. Okay, let's bring it to the mat image. Okay, oops, no. Computer. All right, so now click off of there. Let's click on this little guy here. Let's come up here to Effects, Rhinestones. Now, if you've never worked with this before and never heard me talk about it, what you will want to do first, let's say you have SS10s. That's the common size that I always use. Shadow quit. You're going to want to cut test templates. And what I mean by that is, let me cancel this out. Let me back this view out here. Okay. Before you even throw this down on a mat, what you're going to want to do is on, say, your 12 by 12 mat. So let me create a different screen here. Before you get into doing any design, you are going to want to cut test templates because you need to know how SureCuts a Lot cuts their holes and what the sizes are, right? Correct. So what I tell people to do is come in here and grab a shape. Let's just grab a rectangle. Okay, we're just going to put a rectangle up here. We'll make it about yay big. Okay, object, duplicate. We'll do 3 columns, and we'll do a couple rows. Okay. Now, you can either keep this column for like your SS6s, your SS10s, your SS16s, whatever stone size you have is how you will cut these, okay? So let's say I'm going to do all SS10s. So this one, Effects, Rhinestones. I know how SureCuts a Lot cuts though, but if I didn't, I would come in here, and maybe I'm worried that it's going to cut too small. So I could start with an SS9. You can either fill the shape with a stone or just have the outline, whatever you want. I suggest just doing the outline. It's easier. Oops, sorry, you got to click OK first, Jen. Then this next one. And you can either write down on a piece of paper what you've selected. So that first box, I would put the SS. I would put on my piece of paper that I have sitting beside me, I would put SS9 SM for the smallest, then SS9 LG for the large one. And my piece of paper would have these exact drawings on this, so that when it cuts in the inside, that's exactly what I would write. Of course, you can also type in here and have the machine draw it on there for you. Whatever you want to do is totally fine, okay? So, oops, crap, I forgot to click this one. There we go. Okay, so then click OK. What this is doing, this is giving you a template so that you will have this at all times cut out of whatever media you use. I use chipboard. That's what I use to cut my rhinestone, whatever I'm using. So the love is going to be cut out of chipboard. It's just easy for me, and it's cheap because the chipboard you can use is cereal boxes. Works wonderfully. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. I will also let you know that through doing this, I have a profound dislike of doing rhinestones. But It's just because rhinestones coupled with white glitter vinyl is what I usually have to end up doing. But anyways, you're going to keep going. And I have found that the rhinestone that are made, the Korean ones, the DMC ones, and other ones are all different sizes. Even though they may all be SS10s, they are all still different sizes. So it helps because then you pull them out and then you just brush them through here, and whichever ones they fall into, you look at what's written in the inside, and it may be the SS14. So it may be that you have the SS10s, but it could be the small SS14 that you need to use. Well, you don't have to worry about cutting 35 different templates and wasting all that media, because you know you have this template blank and you've already brushed them in, and you now know, oh, they went in easiest into this one or that one. You don't have to worry. It's all done and easy for you, okay? So that's why I really suggest doing these to help you out. You don't have to, but it is a true lifesaver, okay? So that's what I mean. You can cut, if you use the 8s, the 6s, whatever you use, you can make templates for all of those so that you never have to guess. The SS10s I use, I think, are the smallest SS14s, I believe. I'll have to check. I can't remember. My memory's shot. All right, so now let's come back to this page. All right, so I am going to actually pause this so I can run up. I have actually written outside. I put all of my rhinestones in a little plastic container, and I have written on the outside of them what template hole size I need to use in Sure Cuts a Lot for each of my stones. So I'm going to run up and see what size I have to use. Okay, and with check-in it says the largest 14 is what I will need for the SS10s that I currently have. And if you just seen, even though this one was highlighted, when I came up here the first time, only the puzzle generator was on. So I came over here, clicked off, clicked back on it, went back up, and it was available. Okay, sometimes that just happens. So just click off it and click back on. So I need to get the largest SS14, even though I have 10s. That's what my cuts before have told me, okay? So I'm going to select that, select round, because that's the stone that I have, and I'm going to click preview. Okay, I'm going to move this screen out of the way. And that's what it looks like. I'm going to select fill shape with stones and see what it looks like. I don't know. Take it off and see. I kind of like that a little better. So I'm going to click OK. Alright, now I'm going to move this one to the side for a minute. Alright, and I'm going to go for this one. Effects, Rhinestone. And again, the same stone, just different color. So again, the SS14, the largest. Because I am using the exact same stones, okay? I get mine from Thread Art. But again, don't you use it. I want you to test. Alright, so that's what that looks like. Let's do fill. No. I don't like that. I like that much better. I'm going to click OK. And I'm just going to move this one down. Come on, let go of it, mouse. Now the last one. And remember, mine were filled, or were at the size that I wanted before I started the rhinestone effect. Do not resize these once you have this applied. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to come up here, edit, select all, and let's put them back together. And that is what my final piece will look like. Okay? Now you will note in here there are some pieces that I may not like. Okay, so what I can do is I can actually select this piece. Okay, I'm going to pop it out here for a minute. I can come up here to Object. Ungroup's not available. You can click Break Apart. Come in here, Object, Duplicate. Let's put it right beside there. No, I don't want to do that one. Let's do one at the bottom because I don't want stones overlaying each other. Oops. You want to duplicate where your stones are not going to overlay each other once you click OK. There we go. Alright, click OK. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to highlight all of that. Do not capture any of the stones that you have laying in your duplication. Come back up, Object Merge. We will have to go through and object merge each of these files, so actually I'm going to do that right now. So this is my, make sure it's my middle file. And there's my middle one. Object merge. And here's my outer one. If you do not, what happens when you get to the ScanNCut, it'll throw out a message or just shut it down and return it to the main screen, because what the ScanNCut does is it counts each one of these stones individually. And if you hit your 300 line limit, 400, 500, 600 line limit, it won't read it. So once you do object merge, what that does is it turns each one of these stones, if you have 700, 1200, 1300, doesn't matter, it turns them all into one. So remember, when you do rhinestones, every single pattern must be object merged before you export it. Okay? Alright, so now this little fella, let's take him for a ride up here. Let's try putting him in there. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, you know, I think it's because they sit too close. So let's put him up a little bit. And then we'll have to see if it even fits in the... Let go. If it'll even fit in the... Oops. In the design. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to individually place all of these, and I will come back when I am done because this takes way too long and I don't want you waiting. Okay, so I went in and I placed a few of them, and then before I tried to move it, I made sure I did a object group. Oops. And that allowed me to move them all together. I didn't want to merge them yet because if they weren't going to work out, I did not want to do that. So now I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to come up here and do the object merge. So that will then solidify them all together. And I understand at some point, like right in here, when I do the cut, it may be close and kind of look like hamburger, but I can also hand place these if it does do that to me. So don't be afraid if your design looks kind of icky. You don't have to place the circles in here. You can actually hand place your rhinestones. So don't be afraid of that. Okay. So now what I need to do, because I can't cut this all like this, I'm going to have different colors. So I cannot leave this like this. I need to separate this. This again is where Shortcuts a lot is far and above, beyond Canvas, because in Canvas, of course, you would have to delete, download, pull it back up, open, delete, download, etc. In Shortcuts a lot, we can make pages. Okay, I already have that second page made, so let's make this third page. Alright, so I'll leave love here. Let's send this to page, send layer to page 2. Okay. Oh, you know what? Well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be cut all together. And we'll send layer to page 3. Okay. All right. So what I want to do is I want to get this kind of in the middle-ish so that I have some room on the sides for when I cut. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and it's going to be out of chipboard. All right. Then I pick it up with I use a medium tack transfer tape. You can use a high tack transfer tape. It doesn't really matter, okay, because you press these. I use a heat press, so you're going to press them. In the video that shows me actually pressing them, you follow that same one. I will press them up to like 6 times on the front and then flip it inside out and press them on the back too, because you really want to go after that back. Because on the back is where all of the heat set stuff is, okay? So you really want to do that. Alright, so let's bring this little guy over here. Leave some on the edges, okay? And the same thing with page 3. Leave some on the edges. Okay, so you're not trying to scrape the edges with your stones. Okay, so now I already have all of these object merged, so I don't need to worry about my ScanNCut shutting down. I am now actually able to export these. Alright, so I'm going to put them on my stick. And I'm pretty sure I already have some on there, but let's just do it again. Yep. One, and we're going to override. We're going to do 2. And we're going to override that one too. Let's do love 2. Yes. And then we'll do love 3. Yes. Okay. So now what I'll do is we'll go on up and we'll go to the cutter and I'll show you how to set up all of the stuff the way I do it. Understand, you do not have to do anything the way that I do it. You can branch off and do it your way. That's absolutely fine. But I do highly recommend doing the test templates so that you, and keep it, always keep that so that you can just pull that out. I recommend putting it actually in with your rhinestones. If you use a certain set, like I use thread art mostly, my thread arts, I have them all in a pink, like has about 100 different little packages that I put in there, and I write right on top of there, SCAL SS14 largest. And then I go through and I find my size, and I actually write it on there, because my thread art stones, that is what I use, okay? Now if I switch and I have some DMC, I won't actually write on there because there's so many like varied sizes like in the your variety packs. So that's where those test templates come in. So I have a template and I do keep it with those different rhinestones. Alright guys, if you have any questions, you can find me over at ScanNCut, Canvas, and SCAL Help on Facebook. Thanks a lot guys.